Today's lesson is lesson 6-2, Estimate Decimal Quotients. The I can statement is I can use reasoning and strategies such as rounding and compatible numbers to estimate quotients in problems with decimals. Press pause now to write the lesson number, title, and I can statement in your math notebook. When you are finished, press play. Today's problem is a 135 and 8/10 foot piece of construction material needs to be cut into pieces that are each 16 feet long. About how many pieces can be cut? Solve this problem any way you choose. Press pause now to do so. When you are ready to move on, press play. To solve this problem, I want to use cubes. So to begin, I want to circle the numbers I'm working with. I'm working with 135 and 8/10 feet and also 16 feet. Now I'm going to underline my question about how many pieces can be cut. Next, I'm going to box the keywords. I saw the word each, which gives me a clue on how to solve. And then I also saw the word about. Now I want to evaluate what I just did. My total piece of material is 135 and 8/10 feet. I know it's cut into pieces and that each piece is 16 feet long. Now the key part of this is that it says about, which tells me that I need to estimate or round to figure out about how many pieces there are that are 16 feet long. So right here, it sets it up for me. 135 and 8/10 is about 140, and 16 is about 20. I rounded to these numbers because, one, it is an estimate or a close number of the numbers we're working with, and then I also know it's going to be easy to divide 140 by 20 because it asked in the problem about how many pieces each are 16 feet long. So now I have an easy division problem. I know that I have 20 that goes into 140 7 times because I know 7 times 2 is 14, and then I have the extra 0 at the end. So 7 times 0 is 0, and then 7 times 2 is 14 with 0 left. So there are about 7 pieces in this piece of construction material that are cut into 16 feet. Let's look at Richard's work. He says, are 140 and 20 good choices for estimating the answer? Explain. He said that in his work, it's very similar to mine because he rounded 135 and 8/10 and 16 to the nearest 10. So he divided 140 divided by 20 to get 7. So he estimated also that there's about 7 equal pieces in the construction material. Here's Benita's work. He rounded and estimated a little bit differently. She took her numbers from 135 and 8/10 to 135 and then took 16 to 15. So she used multiples of 5 to work with, which brought her to 15 times 3 is 45. And then she took 45 times 3 to get close to 135. So that allowed her to know that 15 times 9 was 135. And that put her at about 9 equal pieces to be cut. Notice that both of our answers are different. And that's something to consider today when you're doing your work because estimating and rounding is different for everybody. As long as they are close to or about the same number, that's fine. And that's what makes estimating a little tricky when you are working with other people, because you may think that you have the wrong answer, but you may be both correct. It's just that everybody estimates or rounds a little differently depending on how they like to work with their numbers. So now what I want you to do is summarize what you did in your own thinking and be ready to share what you did and how you estimated tomorrow in class.